morning. And welcome to the Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Chloe, and I am one of today's worship assistants. It is so good to be together with you here in person and online. Our minister, Reverend Christina Barnum Martin, will join us in the pulpit next week. Today, we welcome Reverend Misha Sanders to Emerson as the guest speaker. Reverend Misha Sanders, her pronouns, she goes by she, her, and hers, is a community chaplain in Metro Atlanta and a fiery preacher of the good news of Unitarian Universalism. She believes that the whole world is built and rebuilt by the stories we tell ourselves and each other. We are so glad to have you with us. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. Whomever you love, wherever you were born, whatever language you speak, you are welcome here. Whatever your skin color, whatever your class background, whatever your range of abilities, you are welcome here. We are so glad that you chose our fellowship as your place of worship this morning. We come together for worship in order to slow down and listen for the callings of our hearts or spirits. We come together for worship so that we can be reminded of our highest aspirations and continue to transform ourselves into our best selves. If you're joining us for the first time this morning, welcome. After the service, we gather for coffee and social connection in the fellowship hall, down the hall here to the right, so please join us. And now we're going to pause to light our chalice as a symbol of our shared Unitarian Universalism faith.
There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way.
Oh, and that was Grego. I'm sorry. Thank you. Wait, hold on, sorry. First time doing this whole thing, right? So just give me a second. Let me make sure I'm on track. Okay, all right. In the spirit of love and the beloved community, let's share our congregational affirmation. We need not think alike to love alike. Now let's greet and welcome each other to this new day. Those in the sanctuary, feel free to move around to offer greetings. And for those online, please use a chat to introduce yourselves. Today's opening words are from the author of the prophet, Khalil Gibran, and this is a quote on joy and sorrow. When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. So we're going to do our opening hymn. In celebration, let's join together in song. Our hymn is 10:10. We give thanks. Please rise in body or voice as we join together in song. All right. Is it Grego who's going to place our stones in a bowl? We're going to pause for our joys, sorrows, and concerns, and matters of the heart. For this morning's ritual, we have water and we have river stones. The stones are smooth and the stones have weight. They're indicative of both life's pleasures and times of ease, as well as life's burdens and times of heaviness. The water receives these stones with ease and calmness. Each week, I'm gonna need the book. Each week you're invited, to write a joy or sorrow or concern in the book at the back of thank you, that book. So you can write a joy, sorrow, or concern in this book that's placed at the back on that acrylic pedestal thingy. Or you can email it to pastoralcare@emersonuu.org to be read. If you're online, we invite you to recreate this at home. You place a stone in a bowl of water to honor what is in your heart. So we begin by placing 4 stones. The first stone is in honor of the Cherokee and Muskogee nations of indigenous peoples who lived here before us. The second stone is for those wrongly enslaved here who labored on this land. The third, for all those who were killed or injured by gun violence in this country. And the fourth, for all those hurting in current conflicts and wars that rage across our globe. Within our community, today we share that Dominic Thomas is at home and doing well after a small heart attack last week. The family appreciates your care and support at this time. I think at this time we'll just pause and reflect, and we could place one more stone for anyone who dare not say what is in their hearts at this time, and we hold space for that. In thankful awareness, let's say the Buddhist prayer of loving kindness. Please read the words with me that are printed on the order of service. May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be free from harm and suffering. May we all be well in body, heart, and mind. May we all be at peace. Blessed be. One way we put our prayer of loving kindness into action is by participating with other organizations who work to bring love, kindness, and justice to the world. Our Share the Basket partner for February is the Refugee Women's Network. Located in Decatur, the Refugee Women's Network is Georgia's unique nonprofit founded by and for women. Through its many diverse programs, the network strives to empower women, many of whom are survivors of war, conflict, and displacement, to overcome barriers and to thrive. Some of the programs they offer include social adjustment, leadership training, economic empowerment, community health, civic engagement, and a youth program. This organization has dedicated 25 years to supporting refugee and immigrant families, fostering health, self-sufficiency, and fulfillment. The basket will now be passed for those in the sanctuary. As the basket is passed, please feel free to offer a donation or see the card in the baskets being passed for other ways to give. For those online, go to emersonuu.org and select the Giving tab to donate. All donations, unless otherwise specified, are shared equally between Emerson and our partner organization. There are also lollipops in the basket.
Will the young and the young at heart please join us up front for the story for all ages? Looking at you, Grego. So I'm not one to make promises, but I can promise an emotional roller coaster without ever having to leave your home. Except for people that traveled here today, you kind of ruined that already, so that's not my fault. Anyway, if you can check out your order of service, you'll see the lyrics to the rap that Michael and I are going to perform together. I'm just messing with you. No, this week we have a nice, relatable story that will not make you sad. It might be. It might be Misha. It might be a lie. Okay, so here, who thinks you'd want to have a superpower? Okay, all right. Like, Misha, what kind of power would you want?
Shape-shifting.
Shape-shifting, that's a good one. Okay, what you got?
Shape-shifting.
Shape-shifting, all right. Anyone else? Yeah.
I want to control time so I can pause stuff, be wanting to fix my mistake and go forward to some boring stuff.
That's good. Time travel, I like it. Okay, one more. What do we got? Yeah. Control the elements. These are all good. Very, very powerful. Okay, so there's a kid, just like you, just like your age, right? And they had a special power they were born with, right? The power of empathy, which is not a good power, okay? It's one of the worst ones to have because, when people say, hey, I can feel your pain, Cam actually could.
Oh.
Right? It doesn't feel good. And they'd look at people and they'd think, you're worried you were forced to eat vegetables last night. Oh, I'm so sorry. You had to do homework. Oh, no. Yeah, some kids seem to like homework, but I think it's because their parents are teachers. Look up Stockholm Syndrome when you get home. And, for grown-ups, it was usually some boring work thing. Grown-ups are kind of lame, I'm sorry. And because of that, that's what they always felt. Cam's like, well, I must be doing something wrong because I got this gift, right? And if you got a gift, you're probably supposed to use it. And if you're using it right, it's probably supposed to feel good, right? Shooting baskets. I think there's other skills. I just think about basketball. And it just made them feel so upset all the time. Like, I must be doing something wrong, feeling all these bad feelings all the time, feeling people's stress and worry and doubt. I told you it'd make you happy, right? Happy story. So eventually what Cam did is they went out into the woods, they found a cave, and they just lived there for the rest of their life.
Oh. Okay.
I'm kidding. That'd be a terrible story. Like, seriously, you let me get away with that? No, so that's what Cam did for a while. They thought, well, I got to get away from all these feelings. Until one day, a wise woman showed up, which is redundant, because all women are wise. Why do I hear laughter? That wasn't a joke, but what do I know? I'm just a feminist, storyteller, eligible bachelor. And this wise woman had some advice, okay? And who are you picturing? You're picturing probably a mom, a teacher, a doctor, lawyer, any of Barbie's other professions, right? So what this wise woman said is she said, Cam, I want you to go out and go find someone, and you're going to follow them around for a week with their consent. And otherwise it gets complicated. And so that's what Cam did. They went and they followed around a person, and this person's name, this person who seemed happy, their name was Noel. I picked a name at random. It's a good name. It would be weird for me to not pick it at some point, okay? And on day one of shadowing Noel, things were good. They had tacos for dinner. See, that turned empathy into empathy, right? Day two, they found $20 on the ground. Not a bad day, right?
Yeah.
See, and everyone's getting that vicarious good feeling, okay? On day three, they lost their beloved cat. Oh, no. It wasn't over the Rainbow Bridge, not that kind of lost. It was just misplaced, like when you lose your keys or things like that, right?
Oh, you mean like they went missing.
Exactly, they'd run off or something. And this really ruined poor Noel, poor sweet, kind, beautiful Noel's day. And the next day, nothing seemed to be good or fun. Even when they won a free ice cream cone, because they have ice cream cone contests, I guess. They really wanted to have their kitten back. Oh, I need a name for the cat. I just wrote cat name down.
Mittens.
What's that?
Mittens.
Mittens. Okay, I like mittens. Well, you said it first. If you're first, you're best. It does have white paws, actually. It's an orange tabby with cute little mittens and a chubby little ginger face, little cute orange cat. So anyways, the next thing happened, or next day, same thing, and the next. They just, maybe they should have gotten a search party together, but Noel, in the story, had a hard time asking people for help, Does anyone relate to that fictional character trait? Maybe? Kind of, okay. And also it rained that day, and the world felt bleak and gray and free of warm, mewing cuddles. And if you're a dog person, just think barking slobbers, and you'll go, oh yeah, I miss those, right? And the worst part is Noel had things to do. They're supposed to write a story, actually, which, again, it's a coincidence. That's a job that people have, and it's not, it'd be weird to not use it. But yeah, Noel wasn't feeling it, and Cam was feeling the not feeling it. Noel just kind of wanted to give up on everything, and what's the point without cute little cute little mittens? And Cam felt the same way. All their senses did. The sandwich they ate that day tasted bitter. They felt wet and bleh from the rain. They heard the sound of a cat meowing for help nearby. They saw a cute little white cat stuck in a storm drain trying to climb its adorable little mitten paws out. They smelled... Wait, what were those last two things?
Something about cats.
Something about cats. Oh my goodness, you're right. So Cam found the cat, and they got scratched a lot. Don't pick up cats you don't know. Right? There's some cat slander. Oh, and you survived? You must have a superpower.
No, it's called being friendly to cats and knowing how to pick one up.
There you go. But they brought it home, and it made Noel happy, and it made the day better for both of them.
They just left the original cat.
What's that?
They just left the original cat to like.
Oh, this wasn't a random cat. This was Mittens the whole time. It had little mitten paws.
Mittens was orange.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, it had little white paws. Did I say white cat? Well, it was white and orange. Yeah. I mean, give me a break. I'm colorblind. So you can say it's not how colorblindness works. It doesn't matter. This is not a house of science. So anyway, my point is that it made their day a lot better, right? And usually there's just a thin little line between a good day and a bad day. And if you can figure out some reason to just, kind of keep going and keep pushing forward a little bit, and if we support each other by finding lost cats, then eventually things really do just work out. No matter how dark or rainy or the day seems, if you just remember that you're here, and that means nothing life has thrown at you so far has been enough to take you down, so life should be afraid of you, right? So we can't always control that, but we can learn to cope with it, eventually find value in these worthwhile moments of connection, big and small. Just all these things that make us wonder, why we'd ever feel like kind of giving up or something so silly like that ever again, right? That's the truth. I ain't feline. I feel like I've used that one before. Okay, anyways, before we do the song, I was going to say, so the first version of the story, it was about how the problem is there's too many hot dogs. So yeah, well, it's a relatable problem. So Kim had like a hot dog eating contest, and I was like, this is a great idea. Like, this is really great. And then I had lunch, and I was like, this isn't really a great idea. So that's where the other story came in. Oh. Yeah. But anyways, that's why, sometimes Mike will call me up and I'll be like, so Noel, what's the story this week, Wishbone? And I'll be like, I'm not going to say it yet. So anyways, if you guys can join me for the song of dedication. Join the hands.
I want to dress like that. Okay, So I was asked to talk about my Emerson moment. So here we go. A moment. How can I focus on a moment when there are so many? Do I focus on moments with people? Moments of reflection after service? Moments of anticipation leading up to a Sunday knowing the friendly faces I'll see? Do I focus on the deep conversations my soul thrives and survives on? Or how many times I've allowed myself to cry within these walls? Y'all have seen me ugly crying many times. So I tried to wrap my mind around the philosophical significance of an Emerson moment, being a collection of moments that allow me to be present within these walls and this body and skin, that allow me to remove the armor of don't let them see my worry of being the only person of color in the store that I felt at some point during the week, that melts away the hot wax of a smile that I bring to my job each day, that feeds and shelters my son and I. That's you. That allows me to set down the weight on my back of grief of a messy divorce and the grief that still calls my name when I miss my mother and father. I look out at this space and these faces, this sanctuary, and I see multiple moments I've shared with each of you. Some in passing, some in lingering conversation in the hallways, on committees, and on those special occasions outside these walls where our worship takes the form of friendship and fellowship. Emerson has become the space and place where I fill my cup. That ensures that I give myself the time I need each week to reconnect with what matters to me among like-minded people. Where I know Seth, my partner, and I are welcome, and this space is truly a sanctuary for those who dare to be different. And nowadays, it doesn't take too much for that to happen. Here at Emerson, we're allowed to be ourselves and bring our entire selves through these doors to bear witness to and for each other. And that witnessing encompasses all aspects of life, be it spiritual or laughter, tears, in my case, ugly crying, holding space, inside jokes, seeing kids and pets, and their people allowing themselves to just be free. That's it. Emerson allows you to just be free. You are all a collection of moments that I'd like to say Seth and I have found a home in, and I look forward to being a part of yours.
Am I on? Yes? Oh, there it is. I hear it now. Hi, everybody. Thank you for letting me be with you today. I really appreciate this time to hang out with y'all. I love it, Chloe, that you talked about the ugly cry. I am the queen of the ugly cry girl. So we have got that going on. I was scheduled to preach for y'all a few weeks ago. I don't know if some of you maybe had seen that in your bulletins. And then we had a snow day because I don't know, I think 3 or 4 flakes of snow fell. That's the Illinois girl in me talking. But we had a snow day and we had to miss it. So Christina called me and put me on the schedule to come this week and said, you can just do the same thing that you were planning to do anyway. Well, I had planned to talk to you all about joy and about finding joy when and where it is really inconvenient to do so, because we were about to have an inauguration in this country at that time that doesn't make a whole lot of us feel very joyful. I dare say in a Unitarian space that that's an easy thing to say. So I was going to talk to us about finding joy when it's most inconvenient. Wasn't able to share it on that week, and then And then 3 weeks ago, the 1st of February, I just joyfully fell into a pothole and broke my leg in 3 places. So here I am not feeling very joyful. Preaching about joy. I ain't feeling it. Y'all feeling it? Anybody not feeling joyful this morning? Not feeling too joyful. All right, I'll raise both of my hands. Not feeling too joyful. Gonna preach to y'all about joy, not feeling too joyful. But that's going to come later. First of all, let's take a few deep breaths together. I love it that in this space you all worship together multi-generationally. Not a lot of Unitarian Universalist congregations do that. I see some friends back there. It's good to see y'all. Not a lot of UU churches do that. And I love it here, UU kids and youth, that you get the full experience of Unitarian Universalist worship. Let me ask you this, since I just had us all as a group admit that some of us don't feel very joyful, I'm going to ask some of you, kids or not kids, to admit something else to me. When it comes to the meditation or the centering time in a service, is it sometimes just boring as all get out? Anybody ever bored by the idea of meditation? You ever been bored? Yes. Bored by when someone says something about, let's take a few mindful breaths together. Oh, all right, I'm going to mindfully breathe while I yawn through that, right? Okay, well, here is a trick that I use sometimes. You can use it today if you want to. We don't have the props for it. This is about using your imagination. When people say, let's take some deep breaths together, here's a cool thing that you can do in your imagination. Imagine you have a little slinky. Anybody want to hold a slinky in your hand? Okay, I'm going to hold a slinky. Mine is rainbow colored. It's got all the colors of the rainbow. It's actually shaped like a heart, too. And so sometimes it's good to think about, and if you have slinkies at home, you can actually use them in your meditation practice. If you don't have one, you can imagine it. You're holding this end, and you're holding this end, and as you expand the slinky, think about expanding all of the space inside of your guts and in your lungs, right? And just go. And then as you let that slinky go, you can let your body go too. Okay, expand that slinky one more time with me. Back down. Another way, if slinkies aren't your jam, maybe bubbles are your jam. Let's hold a bubble wand and dip it. Make sure that it's all got the bubbles in there. Take it out of there. Take a deep breath in. Blow into your bubble wand. Bubbles everywhere. They can be any color you want because it's your imagination. One more time. Dip it in. Take a deep breath in. All right. See, you're already doing it. You can keep doing that with your slinkies or your bubbles or any other thing that you want to use to make mindful breathing a little less boring. Let's do that a few more times together. These centering words are by my friend and colleague, the Reverend Tess Baumberger. Spirit of life and spirit of grace, rest with us this day in this place. We lift up every joy, every gladness. We hold up every hurt and every sadness, spoken in this good company, as well as every secret feeling held quiet in the hollows of our hearts. A couple more deep breaths together. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Now, because Bruce is not Peter, which it says in your order of service that he is, Bruce is going to play something different for us because we decided that's what he wanted to do, and I said go for it. Bruce is going to play for us an awesome piece called Canyons by Alexis French. Thanks, Bruce. So I do have a content warning for us today, and it's a serious and heartfelt one. I'm going to be sharing a story today that features alcohol use. Now, there's no trauma. It is a story, I gave you the spoiler alert earlier, it is a story about finding joy. The point of this whole sermon will be creating joy in whatever circumstances we find ourselves in. And the alcohol part is only a very imperfect metaphor. I'm going to be struggling with this for a minute. There we go. It's just an imperfect metaphor and a vehicle for carrying the story forward. Now, in this room, I know that there are no doubt in a group this size people for whom the mention of alcohol will never have the ability to spark joy. I get that. Maybe you are sober. Maybe you are considering the possibility that sobriety might be the next right path for you to consider. Maybe you wish that people who have had an impact in your life, people who needed sobriety, would have found it, or maybe would have found it sooner. All of those are valid. And I love you, and I see you, and I want you to do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, even if it's tuning out everything I say today. Take care of yourselves first. Okay, we good? Good, here we go. So this 30-year-old guy gets invited to a wedding, right? He goes, he takes his mom as his plus one, and asks several of his friends to come along too. No, wait, actually, let me start over for accuracy. So this really nice woman gets invited to a wedding, and she takes her 30-year-old still living at home bachelor son as her plus one, and he invites a whole bunch of his other single dude bros to tag along as crashers. That's how it really happened. So they get to this wedding, and I'm sure it's lovely. The story doesn't give us a whole lot of detail, but we know that everyone got through the ceremony and into the reception happily enough, and by some point early in the evening, this party is popping. I mean, it's off the hook, right? There's drinking, and there's dancing, there's ill-advised karaoke probably, maybe a live band, more drinking and laughing and eating cake and bouquet throwing, and so much drinking, I may have mentioned. So much drinking that they ran out of booze. Right? They ran out of booze, and the family of the groom is freaking out, right? No one's ready for this party to stop, but it is the year 30 AD. I probably failed to mention at the beginning, this is a period piece. But in 30 AD, no one had a booze procuring app on their iPhone, and none of the designated drivers could just jump in their SUV and head over to the euphemistically named package store. I find that so funny about Georgia. Real quick before they close, they couldn't do that. So, what are they going to do? Well, in this case, the mom of the 30-year-old guy, wedding crasher guy, he's a rabbi in training, by the way. That comes in a little bit later. She gets a brilliant idea. She's like, hey, everybody, don't freak out. We got this covered because I brought my son. And my son is God's gift to the world, she says. No, really, he is. You don't even understand. And my boy right over there, he's going to fix this very big, very tragic problem. Now, she had not, up to this point in the whole book, been very show-off. So, we don't know how much of the wine shortage might have been due to how much Mama had been drinking, but it might have been a factor. So her son is like, what? Who is this woman? Lady, you are so drunk. I don't have anything to do with this, people. Nothing to see here. Meanwhile, his mom is gathering up all the servers and pointing at her son and saying, see that handsome guy over there? He's amazing. He can fix anything. So go over there right now. No, really, go. And whatever he tells you to do, do it. So they walk over to the guy who's just standing there, slack-jawed probably, with his drunk bros who are loving this, by the way, egging the whole thing on. They just stand there and wait for instructions. Awkward. Awkward. I feel like the band might have even stopped playing dramatically like they always do in movies, right, when things take a dramatic turn. All eyes on the one socially awkward dude no one really knows. Two silent, slow blinks. So finally, he's like, okay, well, this was not in my plans for this evening, but apparently this is happening. So Okay, I don't know. How about you go around and collect all the empty water bottles and then take them to the kitchen? Yeah, do that. He might have been buying himself some time, is what I'm thinking. So the servers take off. They start collecting all of the empty wine bottles. And the jackass wedding crasher friends join in and help them because that makes this all more epic, right? Meanwhile, mom is just like, yeah, that's my boy. Keeps giving him the old, finger gunshot wink move from across the room. So the nervous waitstaff, the drunk loser friends, get all the bottles collected, stacked up in the kitchen. And they're like, okay, phase 1 completed. What now, boss? And the guy's like, just fill them up with water. Yeah, that's it, water. Maybe no one will notice. Have you seen how drunk these people are? Maybe this could work, right? Well, no, probably not, but there's literally not one more drop of booze there, so what were they going to do? Pay no attention to the ginormous plot hole into which anyone from the wedding party or a family member of either newlywed could have just said, yo, we are out of booze, but you drunk idiots have had enough anyway, so let's just keep the party going, right? Okay, whatever. Let's just suspend disbelief and stay with the story, because I promise it's about to get a lot weirder. Because somewhere in between the filling up of the bottles with water and him telling the staff to just say nothing and start serving it, he has done something that nobody saw him do. I mean, we already had a foreshadowing that his mom knew about this trick, right? Because they start pouring the water into the goblets of the guests, and it is not water anymore. It's really good wine. Like, not watered down stuff from a box that we sometimes have at UU parties, right? Not that kind of wine. It wasn't Mike's Hard Lemonade. It wasn't Zima. It was really quality booze. So good that some fancy important person, whom apparently everyone thought was fancy and important, started publicly gushing about how usually they bust out the crappy liquor late in the evening when everybody's already all sheets to the wind, but these people have saved the best for last because they know how to throw a real party. And the mom's just kind of in the corner dancing away like, I told you so. And the wedding crasher friends think maybe they're drunker than they thought or having some really weird kind of hallucination or something. I don't know. What's the 30-year-old rabbi in training thinking and doing it this time? I don't know. Thinking, well, okay, that happened. Party on, party people. Now let me read you how it was written in the King James Version of the tale in Christian scripture so you know I didn't make any of this up mostly. The Gospel of John, chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. His mother then saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. And Jesus saith unto them, Fill the water pots with water. And they filled them up to the brim. And he saith unto them, Draw out now and bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bare it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, Every man at the beginning doth set forth the good wine, and when men have drunk well, that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now. This beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. Thus ends the reading of the scripture. And his disciples believed on him. Oh, you bet they believed. I mean, that was some Penn and Teller, David Blaine, Chris Angel type of mess right there. And you know what? To this day, we don't know how he did it, of course. Some of you in Unitarian Universalist space are Christians. And some of you may be the kind of Christians who believe in miracles like that. Some of you, just as valid Christians, and non-Christians don't. I'm firmly in the camp of I have no idea. But I have made up a reason that I really like about maybe why he did it. Right? See, let me tell you what I do for sure believe about this Jesus guy, because a lot of people believe a lot of things about Jesus, and not all of it's very life-affirming, is it? Those people are not in love with the party Jesus who made the good wine. Those people may be big fans of the pious Virgin Mary, but most definitely not of Party Mom Mary, who told everybody she not only knew her boy was a drink spiker, she was in on it. But this is what Jesus chose to do first. His very first miracle, to get the attention of the friends who became his disciples and followed him to his grave and then maintained their loyalty even unto their own graves. He first chose to let them see him as a miracle worker by turning some water into wine so the people could have a really good party. I think that's pretty dang cool. And let me tell you, it was not really a time for partying very hard for most of the people in the land where Jesus lived. I know some of you, a lot of you come out of Christianity, whether you consider yourselves Christian or not. Many of you, I think here, will remember that hearing about that story where Jesus got so angry one time about the crooked bankers and loan sharks who were preying upon people who'd been lied to about the kind of sacrifices that God required, that he walked right into the temple where they were exploiting the poor, and he started kicking over their tables and calling them brood of vipers. Y'all remember that story? Table kicking Jesus? Yeah, our Prince of Peace could get down with some table kicking, right? Well, that was already percolating in his activist mind at this party, because you know when it happened? Next. It's the very next notable thing that Jesus did after his debut as the one to watch at the Cana wedding. I read to you through verse 11 of the second chapter of John, and in verse 12, he sleeps off the party hangover and rests a few days. I'm not kidding, he does. And then in verse 13, he heads to Jerusalem, where the next thing he does is break some temple furniture and make some very powerful enemies. And we know how that turned out for him, don't we? Yeah. So the point is, Jesus was not living in a time of peace and love and joy when he decided that his first act of God was going to be helping people have a really good time. It was right in the middle of a fierce fight for justice. It was right in the middle of his people being persecuted and lied to by the Roman government and being gaslighted and fed fake news right in the temple and in the public square. Jesus wasn't preaching a prosperity gospel or telling everyone that if they just said affirmations and pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and tried a little harder, everything would get better. And Jesus didn't sponsor a jewel-toned collection of live, laugh, love, throw pillows at the Walmart. He wasn't that kind of a minister. But I believe that what he did know was the secret of the oxygen mask. You know that thing the flight attendants always say when we're not really listening at the beginning of a flight? That thing about how in case of an air pressure change in the cabin, the laws of nature do not care how much you love your kids or your grandma or your spouse or your dog. If you don't put on your own oxygen mask first, you're going to pass out and not be of any use to the people who need you. So do that self-care thing first, because it really is the opposite of selfish. I believe that's what Jesus knew. You know, the miracle of the turning the water into wine has been commentaried to death by theologians across the spectrum of belief. There are a lot of deep thoughts about what it all meant. And you know, maybe one of them's right, probably, sort of, maybe, I don't know. But no more right than this one thing that I believe I know for sure. And that is that joy still matters. Your joy still matters. Our collective joy still matters. And if joy ever matters more at one time than another, maybe it matters most when it is the most inconvenient thing to work toward. Maybe because we know that the time of table kicking is upon us, my fellow Americans. We can know that the time to be uninhibited at the party sometimes ought to come first. Maybe when Jesus said to his mom, "But my time has not yet come," maybe she pulled him close and said, "Oh, my baby boy, maybe it wasn't what you planned, but son, the world is happening around you anyway, and I'm worried for you because I know you, and I know that you're not going to stay out of this unimaginable political mess while people are being harmed. But tonight I'm here at a party with my beloved son, and dang it, Jesus, just be here now and have a good time with your mom, will ya?" And so he did. He did, and so can we. Beloveds, when genocide is happening right now to our beloved human family again, when we are fighting for the rights of women and people who have wombs and the LGBTQIA plus community and our BIPOC beloveds, many of whom I just spoke of, you are here in this room, when we are fighting those fights again, when we're reading political manifestos that look and act and walk a whole lot like fascism in our beloved nation, again, when we're feeling resistance fatigue already, anybody? What might happen next we cannot even bear to think about, again. Then sometimes maybe don't. Maybe it's time to stop, just for a moment. And crank up the joyful music and be with the people here and other people that you adore and trust and have a really, really fun party. Right? Just for now. Because the temples and the other power centers will still be there when you are rested enough for the table kicking. But if your friends and your family are here right now, remember that this moment happens once. This moment. And these are the things for which we rise up to power anyway, are they not? If we do not fight for joy, for ourselves and for each other, then what, beloveds, is the point? The pursuit of happiness wasn't just a frivolous thing that sounded poetic to put in our nation's Declaration of Independence. People have apparently always thought it was worthy of our greatest effort. And so, while this sermon isn't the deepest theological exegesis of a miracle of Christ that anyone will ever hear, that's okay. That's okay because I love you and I respect you, but I don't care if you think I'm right or deep or smart or spiritual. I don't care. Right now, I care about telling you that I believe sometimes the first order of business is to blow some minds with how much fun life can be when you suspend disbelief and leave your worries at the door just for a little while, sometimes, when your beloveds are with you and it is time to fully surrender to joy. May we try that more often. May we remember that it is what sustains us for the table kick and fights. May we know that we will be stronger for the fight when we first surrender to joy. And then may we just friggin' do it already. Maybe so. Amen.
Thank you. I'm here wondering what vintage you're drinking. Anybody else was?
Water.
Let's please rise in body or voice as we join together in song. Joyful, joyful, we adore thee.
Hey, Bruce, can I just say something before we start this? I just want to say, y'all, it cracks me up every time a musician says, okay, we can do this one after I preach the sermon, because I've preached this in some places before. And here's what I love. I love it when this happens, and I trust that y'all will do this today. I trust that we are not going to sing it like you use, who have to read ahead a line to see if we agree with the theology. Let's just bust out and sing, y'all. I love you. Let's sing it. Off. Hello, hello there. I think I got it. Our closing words are by my colleague, the Reverend Heather Ryan Starr. May whatever gatherings or activities we engage in this Sunday afternoon help restore us, our connections to one another, our sense of hope, beauty, and fun in this world, our deep knowing that we have to take care of ourselves and each other with love and joy if we are to soulfully survive the world's mayhem. Amen.
Let me invite Gregor up to extinguish our chalice. As our chalice is extinguished this morning, we extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again. A couple of announcements. One urgent announcement by Reverend Christina. There is a bit of a scam going around, and she wants to remind everybody that she will never ask for any gift cards or like anything like that via email. So just be aware, if you see an email from her, maybe flag it. Don't click on anything, etc. Okay. I'm sure that they'll be sorting through that issue with the office. Also, March 1st, this coming Saturday, the congregation will gather to install Reverend Christina Barnum Martin as our next settled minister. It will be a joyful day. We look forward to seeing you here. Know that parking at Emerson will be limited, so please know that parking in the lot next door may be a necessity. As our service ends, go now in peace and take peace wherever you go.